Go ATM. It is Sunday afternoon. It's a late May afternoon. Actually, it's 12:30. And I just went up to Walmart. Had to run an errand up there. Picked up these 1/2-inch Dominator pedals. And no, they're not for my Trek. These are actually for a different bicycle. And it's a sneak preview of an upcoming video that I'm going to be doing. I actually have 2 videos that I'm working on that are kind of not like my typical videos. I'm going to try to branch out a little bit. But in the meantime, I thought I'd make a dumpster diving video because I'm actually caught up now. For a long time, I've had a backlog of videos, like usually 2 or 3 videos waiting to be edited and published. But I published my last video 2 days ago, and I'm trying to get a video out at least every 3 days, even though I fall short of that sometimes. So hopefully I'll find some cool stuff. The last time I actually went out and did filming in the field, I talked about it in my last video, in the gold ring video, which didn't have any actual dumpster diving in it. But I mentioned the fact that I went out and filmed for a couple of hours and like literally found nothing but like a few pieces of bubble wrap. So this is my best route. So hopefully get some stuff that's worth watching, some footage that's worth watching. And we're already off to a pretty good start here. The wire action. Don't need that tape. Some lead or plastic. Can in there, and a little piece of bubble wrap. Moving on. Let's put these pedals in my lower choke so they don't get scratched up. Yeah, those are 1/2-inch pedals. Those would not even fit on this bike anyway. Speaking of the bike, the Trek FX2 disc, I just got it back from the shop. Had this bike for not quite 3 months, I think a little over 2 months now, and it's been in the shop 3 times. So I don't know if I'd really recommend this bike to anyone if you're thinking about buying a 2019 FX2. For one thing, the first problem that I had, that's a dead dumpster over there, I'm not even gonna go to that one. The first problem that I had that I talked about in my videos were, it was like a clicking sound. I thought it was like the pedals or something. And it ended up being the, someone can finish their beer, I guess. It ended up being an issue with the bottom bracket. There was not enough grease in it, which is, if you read reviews of like Walmart bikes and stuff, that's like the #1 complaint people have about like cheaply made Chinese Walmart bikes. So that's maybe an indicator. I mean, I'm not saying the quality of this bike is the same as that, not quite on that level, but it is made in China. It's only their really expensive bikes that are made in the US, and you know, this is an over $600 bike, and after the tubeless tires, I have more than that into it. So The second time I brought it in, I noticed that my chain was banging against something. It was making a clicking sound, and I could see the chain like going in like a serpentine type motion like that, which is not right. And took it into the shop, left it there for 2 days, couldn't ride for 2 days. They called me up, told me to pick it up, picked it up, and I was doing the same thing. So this is the Trek store that I'm talking about, the actual Trek franchise that's here in Peoria. So I took it back. I rode it 20 miles that night, rode it to the place where I do live sound sometimes. Rode it there and back, which was like a 20-mile ride, like 19 point something mile ride, according to Google Maps. And it was clicking, doing the same thing the entire time. Went back, took it to the guy, the tech, the guy that runs the place. I will say they have excellent customer service. I mean, they're really friendly and attentive and listen to you. They listen to me, you know, when I go in there, and they're not pushy like type salespeople, and they seem genuinely interested in what's going on with you and your bike. I will say that they seem to be really good people, for, you know, period. But yeah, so they didn't fix that one issue. Took it back, same thing. Had the bike, I think they actually had it only one day that time, and went and picked it up, and it's not clicking, but I do still see the chain doing this a little bit, and I think it's like a bent chain ring. He said he replaced a number of parts. I could tell he didn't really know what fixed it. He just kind of was like throwing parts at it until it stopped doing it. But maybe he didn't replace the chain rings, because it's doing it on all 3 rings. So yeah, not super stoked maybe on this bike. I mean, I like it. It's fast as heck. And it maneuvers great. I'm gonna look in that banker's box. I don't know if there's anything in there, but I don't know if I'd buy another one. Honestly, I think my DS1, my 2018 Dual Sport 1, was a better constructed bike. Obviously, I'm pretty hard on these things, and I never really had any mechanical issues with the DS1. See, this is something, before I had the camera, I would just like, I wouldn't have to flip my whole, wouldn't have to flip the whole lid up to get into this. I could just rest the lid on the top of my helmet, kind of. Probably nothing in here. I don't know what there is. Trophies. Dunlap. It's the local high school. Some Dunlap high school stuff in here. Plaques. Can't really do anything with. The gearbix, maybe. Take a look at them. That's interesting. Yearbook. Framed. Letter. That might be something. Letters in the yearbooks might be something I could do something with on eBay. Yearbooks are really kind of slow sellers. I might just leave these here. Might take it's a signed golf ball. If anyone knows what that signature is, I'm going to take that ball. The Maui Gym Titleist. Maui Gym is a sunglass company that has their headquarters here. take that ball, and we'll take this pocket knife. I'll take the letter and the patch. You know what? This is all just yeah. I got so much stuff to list right now. I don't need to mess around with like some real low dough stuff like that. So I'll throw that in with my costume jewelry box. Garage sale. I don't think that was gold or anything. Close this back up. If I can, I have to go all the way around. This sucks. Get enough momentum. There we go. Oh. I'm like, can't see me, but I'm like the most contorted, weird position right now. Okay. Whew. Okay, that was a lot of work for nothing. That's part of what this gig's about, though. You will definitely have that. Got some fan action. Get the cord and the motor off of that guy. See, I don't want it to sound like I'm dissing Trek, but I think I may have. Oh, someone cut the cord off already. Someone else is doing this route. That's interesting. Never seen any evidence of anyone else going through these dumpsters before. That's a new development. New development for sure. Oh, it's got that metal bracing in this one. Okay. Let's get the screwdriver out. Ow. Ah, I just banged that right into my ankle. I need to go in from this way. Mess out here. If anyone is watching this that does this or is thinking about doing this, please, when you're going through these dumpsters and like doing stuff like this, like field scrapping stuff outside of the dumpster, please clean up your mess. This is the #1 thing that gives us a bad name. This and like, you know, stealing wire, stealing pipe, stealing wire. Don't do that. Don't do that, and always be respectful of the property that you're on. You are on private property, usually. I'm on private property right now. So, respect people's stuff. Don't screw it up for everyone else. Or yourself. Or yourself for that matter. Sound like I was drunk there. I can't. Okay. I could get a powered screwdriver for this, but it's just another thing I have to keep track of, keeping charged up. I already got to deal with the camera and my light. I don't really want to start throwing power tools into the equation. Not to mention, sometimes it's good to not be making a ton of noise. I'll take this motor, and there is a little bit of wire here we can grab. Not too bad. Just pull it right out of there. That's out. Put the screwdriver back. Fly just fly in my ear. Okay. Pick up these little bits. Can't get it with my gloves. Gotta get these with the bare hands. That looks like something I did. Okay. That looks like that came off the fan too. Starting to sweat now. It's like it's not that hot. I think it's like 82 or something like that. It's really humid. As it pretty much always is here in Central Illinois. It is growing season, and we've been getting an insane amount of rain this year. I guess the farmers are kind of freaking out because their fields are getting washed out. I know there's like a big, see that plastic went flying everywhere. There was some kind of big conference the other day about how they were going to deal with the flooding. Like they literally don't know what to do. Like that's never happened before. So crazy amount of rain. I'm lucky my basement hasn't flooded. Knock on wood. We get a little bit of drainage in there every once in a while, but nothing worth worrying about. A couple times a year. Let's park the bike over here. Sign's kind of in my way. Just park it right there. I think I've mentioned this before, but I always check the cardboard dumpsters when I'm buying them. Just, you never know, you find stuff in here sometimes, and a lot of times I'm looking for packing material too, like paper and packing paper and boxes and stuff. Some aluminum frame action here. That's a whiteboard. I'm actually going to keep this for my basement. I've been looking for one of these. I haven't bought one because I knew I would find one of these in a dumpster eventually, and that's actually the perfect size. And I'm by the band practice spot right now, so I can run that right over to that and stash it there. So that's a cool little find for me. Probably not too exciting as far as the video is concerned. There is aluminum on there if I wanted to scrap it. This is plastic, tin metal. It'd be like scrap iron or whatever. For I was more into scrapping metal. Not really into scrapping metal. I do grab the good stuff when I see it, but what I'm really out here looking for is stuff that I can sell on eBay for the most part, or Amazon. Or I used to say the flea market, but I'm not really doing the flea market anymore. I think the flea market was today, actually. I'm still gonna be going there to buy stuff probably to resell, but I think my days of setting up there are probably over, at least as long as I own my own garage. It's way better to sell stuff that way than the flea market for whatever reason. I'm gonna stash that there, check these other dumpsters, and then I'm going to strap that to my totes, turn the camera off, take that off, take that over to the band practice spot, And then I'll come back here and turn the camera on, and it'll be like I never left. But I'm literally like, I can see, pretty sure I can see the building from here. It's really close. It's in that black bag. It's a medical device of some sort. There's a juicy transformer power supply in here. There were these one things that were thrown away too. I'm gonna be real careful with this because this could be like contaminated with a disease. If this came out of like a sick person's house that was dying or something like that. I just want to see what it is. It's just some kind of pump. There was a device that they were throwing away a lot of for a while. And they all had SD cards in them. That aquarium's been here for a long time, and I haven't messed with it. It's kind of back here by the wall. It's got some cables in there. I'm gonna leave it. And stuff's like right by the wall of the building. I mean, it's kind of like a gray area. So it could be something they're storing. Something's in a dumpster. It's like 100% public domain. If it's not locked, that would be trespassing or breaking and not breaking and entering, I guess, but destruction of private property or something if you were to break a lock to a dumpster. But other than that, unless your community has a specific local ordinance against dumpster diving, it is protected by federal law. And the reason for that is so police officers can go through people's garbage for evidence in crimes, for prosecuting crimes. That's why that's legal, and that's why it's in their best interest to keep it legal. And cops know this, so they're generally not going to mess with you. I've dumpster dove like right in front of cops basically before. Okay. I'm gonna turn the camera off and I'm gonna strap this with my bungee cords to my rig here. And when I turn the camera back on, I'll be at the next dumpster over.